We're in the period of stewardship here at the church. And as treasurer, you might expect me to talk about money. We'll think about why am I doing it. So to me, before I can consider the concept of stewardship, I need to consider a couple of questions. One, why am I an Episcopalian? And two, why would I give money to St. Andrews? As crass as it sounds, that's what stewardship's all about. So I thought I'd share with you a few of my thoughts on those two subjects. Why am I an Episcopalian? My brother and I were raised in a small northeastern town. My mother and father were devout. In fact, we specifically lived directly next door to our church that we attended 3 times a week. My mother felt like that if we went a lot, it might ingrain a faith in us that would carry into our adulthood. And for me and for my brother, she was right. My mom had a great 8th grade education, but she was very wise. By today's definition, the church we attended would be considered evangelical, probably politically conservative to right wing. My brother and I were offered a steady diet of Old Testament hellfire and brimstone every time we went to church. At the age of 16, my mom said, "Okay, boys, you don't have to go anymore. I've done all I can do. I think I've done my job." And fortunately for us, she had done her job because that seed had been planted. Our household, fortunately, was based more on the concept of the New Testament, and specifically, to keep it simple, Matthew 22, 37 through 39. I'll return to that passage in a minute. As I grew into adulthood, I found I was missing something in my heart. After I came out of college, I had attended church a lot, but I had some. I felt like I needed a church home, but not the type that I'd been raised in. Just fortuitous events led me and my young family to All Souls Episcopal Church in Oklahoma City. And my religious life was changed forever. Father Shaw was a relatively small man in physical stature, but when he entered the sanctuary, his persona filled the room. When I was in his presence, I was confident that things were going to be okay. It only took a few visits, and I was sure that the Episcopal Church is where I belonged. Now, back to Matthew 22. Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is likened to it. Love your neighbor as yourself." I think love your neighbor as yourself is the focal point of what I'm trying to say today. We hear those words, fortunately, almost in every service we attend as Episcopalians. I believe those simple words are the basis for humanity, if only we'd live by them. They're the foundation upon which all wars would end. Hunger would no longer exist. Discrimination and bigotry would just cease. For me, the doctrine of the Episcopal Church is based on these words, and 3 others that are even simpler. God is love. I unfortunately hear similar beliefs from other religious groups in America, but their actions often don't speak those same words. I believe we Episcopalians are accepting of our fellow man, no matter his color, creed, sexual orientation, gender, religion, religious affiliation. You only need to look at the diversity of our clergy, and you can easily see that we live these words. Now, why St. Andrews? I've been a member here for 27 years. Andrews is where my wife, my soulmate, was confirmed as an Episcopalian. St. Andrews is where our five of our grandchildren were baptized. St. Andrews will be where my ashes will remain when I leave this life. St. Andrews is our church home. I believe the future of St. Andrews is brighter today than at any time since I've been here. I'm getting to know our new priest, Reverend Stephanie, And I see in her many of the same qualities that I admired and respected in Father Shaw. I've told her this, and it is high praise considering my attitude about him. I listen to her sermons, and I often feel she's talking directly to my soul and to the issues with which I'm dealing every day. That is how I felt when Father Shaw was speaking. I feel the future of St. Andrews is in good hands. I believe the parish family here generally lives a life based on Matthew 22. I feel at home here. My mother would have felt at home here if she were still with us. And she's proud of Sharon and I for being here and being a part of this parish family. So, when I sit back and reflect on these thoughts, it makes it much easier for me to open my checkbook and write those checks, knowing that I'm putting them in a place where a lot of good is being done. Thank you for your time.